how are you? Okay, so for the last video for tonight, I am doing it for Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. Okay, this is for the new moon that is tomorrow, August 11th, 2018. That's in Leo. It's at 18 degrees and 42 minutes of Leo, and it's at 5:58 a.m. Okay, it's the new moon partial solar eclipse. And this is the finale of eclipse season, so super excited. So check out the intro video so that way you guys can understand what that means in general. And this is particularly for the rising signs of Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces, okay? Rising signs, not sun signs. However, you can look up this video because there might be some changes in the sun. I will definitely say for fixed signs, it will definitely be some changes. So that's for Leo, that's for Scorpio, Aquarius, and missing one. Oh, Leo. Oh, and Taurus. Okay, so keep in mind with that as well. So let's go into this. First and foremost as well, I want to let you guys know that it's really important to follow your birth chart to make sure that you are looking at the right area. So just to keep in mind, I'm an Aquarius ascendant. However, I follow Pisces ascendant a lot when it comes to my map because my map is set up like that. So make sure that you are following 18 degrees and 42 minutes of where Leo is in your birth chart, and make sure that whatever house that's in, that's the one that you would follow. All right? So this is for Sagittarius. Let's start off with Sagittarius. So Sagittarius will be affected with the new moon in the 9th house. The 9th house is actually where Sagittarius governs. So it's at home in this area, okay? So Sagittarius ascendant, you're going to definitely feel really good in this area. This will bring some new beginnings when it comes to your belief systems. So maybe you might have some new experiences on education, okay? Some higher education to feed the conscious, to feed self-acknowledgement, okay? New knowledge, new education. You might actually take a long-distance trip to get you to some new knowledge, okay? This is an experience of exotic places or foreign countries or foreign people or foreign just excitement, like foreign excitement. That's really funny. Excitement of foreign concepts. There you go. This is the opportunity of discovering different concepts because you're learning through a different lens. You're not focused on the 3rd house, right? Gemini lens. You're focusing on what's out there, what's out of your normal realm. So that way you can really take that information, channel it in, and go ahead and teach it. Because Sagittarius, a lot of Sagittarius love to teach. They love to be the leaders, right? And especially if you have a Sagittarius ascendant, this means that there's a part of you that is seeking that experience, seeking the experience of foreign concepts and knowledge, so you can go ahead and be a teacher of some sort and lead, okay? So that's with that. You might also have experience and new beginnings of a new study or teacher. So maybe you come across the new guru, or you might experience going to a different church or something and experiencing the teachings of a new pastor. Okay, so it's new areas in that, new schools, new pathways of learning, new adventure. Sagittarius is all about adventure, okay? Voyages, having the bravery to go out there and take the voyage that's necessary to bring back that knowledge, all right? So this could also bring some new experiences with that. You know, I can't even tell you, I was so shocked. I asked the universe for adventure, literally, like, if I could do this with $1 million, oh my gosh. But I asked the universe. I looked up the other day. This happened not yesterday, the day before. And I looked up and I was like, I need some adventure today. Lo and behold, my friend Nick shows up on my like, I have an apartment in Philly, and shows up right on the sidewalk with this bike, this motorcycle. And he asked me to go boating, but I didn't know he was going to show up with a motorcycle. And I'm like, okay. So he's like, yeah, I told you I was going to pick you up. Here I am riding through the city with a motorcycle, and like we had a journey right before we even got on the boat. All right, so Sagittarius love to have fun. They love adventure. So this is going to definitely spark that for you guys. So you guys should have some fun with that, okay? And again, like I said, it could spark some exotic experiences. So you might have a trip that brings you to some exotic food or something like that, something pleasurable, okay? So that's all with Sagittarius. Let me see if I missed anything. Oh, and I would definitely say too, because the third house rules writing and rules the hobbies and the crafts of the hands, it's totally possible because since ninth house is opposite from the third house, maybe if you're a writer or a painter or some kind of, you do something with your hands, some kind of arts with your hands, this could definitely bring an opportunity of you publishing that to the outside world, okay? Because again, it's the long distances. So even though like the third house is the hands and writing and media, it really has to focus on, it focuses on the neighborhood. So this could bring an opportunity for publishing for those to get their information and their media, or even if like you're a news reporter or whatever you're doing that has to do with reporting news or activities of the hands, it can get out into other places besides your neighborhood, okay? So that would be Sag. All right, then we have Capricorn. So Capricorn is in the 8th house. So 8th house is traditionally ruled by, I'm sorry, I had a moment. Traditionally ruled by Scorpio. And because of that, so 8th house really has to do with your death and rebirth, but I would most likely have to do with like debts, inheritances, taxes, joint assets. It has to do with secrets, psychology, occult studies, sex, like deep sex, not like 5th house casual sex, but like, you know, intense sex or sex within the marriage as well, because 7th house is the angular house and then 8th house is the supportive house of the angular house, right? Succeeding house. So it could be sex between you and a partner that's a long-term partner, not a casual relationship, okay? So it could be that, or it could also be appreciation of depth, right? So this is a time period that you're really going to be quite intense, okay, Capricorn? Ascendants, the reason why is because that's bringing in that effects of the 8th house, and 8th house is intensity. Has to do with digging in the depths of things. It doesn't like anything surfaced. Surface is something that it cringes at, all right? It's repulsed by it. It doesn't understand it. Scorpio's like, no, I'm not into that. So it's pretty cool because I really feel like although Capricorns do like to, they don't like feelings, they are one of the most sensitive signs out there, because Capricorn is definitely a sign that is triggered by fear of failing, and because they have that trigger, they climb so high with the career segment of the life, but then it's like they feel alone a lot of times, okay, because they're just so focused on career that they start to like push everybody out of the way while getting there, and then they're lonely. So Capricorns can be very, very sensitive and feeling lonely at some times, especially since they're also opposite of Cancer. So usually Cancers wear their heart on their sleeves, but because of that, Cancers can control their inner emotions a lot better than most people because they're used to emotions, whereas Capricorn is used to hiding emotions, so they're not so good at controlling it when it comes to being with somebody that they really care for. All right, so keep that in mind because intensity is a big thing here with being in the 8th house. You're gonna want it though. You're gonna want it. It's gonna feel good if you allow it in. You know, if I say the word intensity to a Capricorn, they're like, what the hell? I don't feel like dealing with all that, right? Because it's like, nah, that's taking time away from my work. But you might necessarily need it at this point. You might not necessarily crave it because maybe things are just too surface and you really want to experience something that's of depth. So it's really important for you to be able to have that experience. Okay, this can also bring some issues as far as separation of funds, okay? It's a new beginning in that, possibly, since it has to do with joint assets. So maybe within your marriage, this is the time period that you and your wife or husband decide, you know what? I love you, but we need to separate our stuff, because we need to separate our stuff, because this is too much, right? That might be a thing. It could also, the sex drive is definitely going to be a major thing. I would definitely say the sex drive, because of the fact that it has to do with that deep sex, right? So that's also a major thing too. But you're gonna have a sex drive in something deep. Like I was telling you guys before, it's not gonna be something surface. You're gonna want something intense. You're going to want something that changes you in some way, all right? So there's some new beginnings within that as well. You might pay off some debts, okay? You might finally claim your taxes, right? Some of us that are lazy, or that for some reason didn't get their right files in the mail and still haven't filed their taxes, so you might do that. But yeah, overall, I would definitely say there will be appreciation of depth and intensity at this moment. And also be careful with loans, all right? Because right now, this is a time that you might necessarily feel like you have to take some out. So be careful with that. Make sure it's a necessity, all right? Aquarius is in the 7th house. 7th house is of marriage, partnership, law, relationships in general. So this is redefining relationships for you. All right, so what this means is that you might have a relationship that's coming from the past, especially with all these retrogrades being here. So you might have a relationship from the past that, like, you are rekindling, or that you are now redefining what the relationship meant. You could have the relationship that you're in, you start to reset some boundaries between the two of you. Maybe there's a lot of... maybe you guys are in your face too much. It's totally possible. Like, relationships are beautiful and stuff, but, like, especially with that Aquarius energy, Aquarius has to go out and do things. Aquarius has to go out and be a part of the community and learn things and bring it back. So Aquarius with someone, this might be an opportunity for you to reset your boundaries, so that way you could have your boundaries within the relationship, so you could have freedom, right? So you could really feel freedom. Or maybe you have a new experience with your partner that might create some freedom for the two of you, right? That's a major thing too, because it's traditionally ruled by Libra. This really has to do with understanding the balance of things, right? Because even though Libra loves to be in relationships, it still craves balance. So being that that's another air sign and you're an Aquarius, this is really going to also spark some intellectual ideas for you and a partner. Or maybe you have a business relationship as well. This doesn't have to necessarily be a romantic partnership, but this could be a business relationship as well. So maybe you have some new beginnings in a new business partner, okay? So that could be of that as well. On top of that too, this has to do with legal matters, because the 7th house is about law as well, since Libra is ruling the idea of justice. So this could also present some legal matters with that. So you might be signing some new contracts, or maybe you could even get married. It could be as simple as that, you know. Some people might say, oh, well, that's so basic. No, but it's the truth. You could actually be married, because, again, this is 7th house. The 7th house is relationships, it's partnerships. So this can begin something new. Again, it doesn't have to be... even though marriage is a big deal, but I'm saying it doesn't have to be where this energy that lasts for 6 months is like, oh my God, this is a new beginning that lasts for just these 6 months. No, it could be something to spark a new beginning in your life. Something so simple could spark a new beginning in your life. So it could be you and your husband or wife going to couples counseling, right? Because again, that's that 7th house, that's couples, okay? And that one trip to the counseling could change a lot. So that could be something. This is also going to define your balance between self in your relationship. Now, I previously just mentioned this with saying, like, you know, setting up some boundaries there so you can have your personal freedom. This is really important to understand because 7th house is on the axis of 1st and 7th, right? And 1st house is your ascendant. That is, I'm sorry, 1st house is not your ascendant. 1st house is your, well, yeah, I apologize. In this case, yes, in this case, I'm sorry, because you're an Aquarius. And because it's on that axis, yeah, so then 1st house would be your ascendant, and then 7th house would be, or maybe I'm going crazy. I'm sorry, guys. I'm talking about my personal chart, so I'm having a moment. But no, I am right. I'm going crazy. Okay, don't listen to me. Don't listen to me. Your 1st house would be Aquarius, right, and then it would be affected in the 7th house. I'm sorry, I had a moment, guys. All right, so it would be on the axis of the 1st house of self, and then the 7th house of partnerships, right? So in that case, it would definitely have to do with the fact that you need to make sure that you have enough time for self just as much as you have time for partnerships, okay? Again, the luminaries are coming together, the sun and the moon. They're coming together to spark up some new beginnings, but they're not forgetting about what each other stands for, right? They still are... they're still different beings, okay? And in this case, I would definitely say that would have to do with the fact that you still have to understand you're still, although coming together, still a different being. So it's very important to understand that when it comes to a relationship. You're still a different being, all right? So this is something that an Aquarius will definitely spark some understanding in during this time as well because of that 7th house. 7th house new moon, all right? Let's see if we have anything else for Aquarius. That's pretty much it when it comes to Aquarius, okay? So there's some new partnerships that might start up, some new relationships, some new business partnerships. All right, and last but certainly not least, we have the 6th house that Pisces ascendants will have their new moon in, okay? So 6th house is the house of service, all right? It is traditionally governed by Virgo. So this has to do with health, day-to-day obstacles. This has to do with open enemies. So these are people that you know are your enemies. These are competitive beings, okay? So this could also have to do with competitive members at your job. It doesn't necessarily have to be somebody that's technically an enemy. That would more so be 12th house, your hidden enemies, all right? So I would definitely say with 6th house, this is a time period of self-care. So new beginnings with self-care, new beginnings of understanding self-medicinal practices, right? So this could be getting involved in yoga. This could be eating healthier. This could be even a new job. Now, it sounds crazy, but like day-to-day is your job as well. The 2nd house, the 6th house, and the 10th house are the triangle of your career. However, it's really important to understand your job is very influential to who you will be on a day-to-day. It doesn't matter if you have a job, you work from 9 to 5 and go home. 9 to 5 is a long time during your day because when you get home, you might be pooped and you might only be up till 9 o'clock before you go to sleep. So you have 4 hours to yourself. That's it. Other than the time that you woke up, had a cup of coffee, brushed your teeth, whatever the case may be, and your time between going on the train or taking your car to work, you really only have a few hours to yourself during the day. So this might be a new understanding towards the fact that you might need a new position, because if you're not happy with what you're doing, you're not going to be a very happy person just because you're spending so much time doing something you cannot stand. So it's very important to understand that, okay? So if it's not healthy, if it's not working for you, if it's not making you a better person and making you put love out into the universe so you can be received back as well, you probably will do better off with allowing yourself to put the energy out there to say, I want something new in my life, something that I'm meant to do, discovering my purpose, or whatever the case may be, so that way you can actually like bring in what's going to flourish you as an individual and bring in those appropriate funds for you to be able to survive off of happiness, okay? So this could also represent a new job too. This could also be a new beginning from a divorce. Okay, again, this was just an ending, July 27th, so depending on what ended, this could be a new beginning from that. So, divorce is a thing of the 6th house as well. So this could be some new beginnings with that. Physical fitness, you have new diet regimen that could happen. New daily activities. Maybe you start getting yourself involved in some more activities that stimulate your self-care. Okay, so that's a major thing too. You might also get a new pet. Sixth house is household pets, small pets. Really, okay, so you might get a new baby, or you might get something for the new baby. Maybe you like get them a new playpen or something, or maybe they have new babies. It could be so many different things with the new pets. And then I would say volunteering could be a thing as well, right? Because this is the house of service. It's Virgo, so volunteering could also be something that you get yourself involved with as well. All right, I'm trying to think if there's anything else with sixth house. I believe that's it. Yeah, health and awareness, just being a healthy soul. All right, guys, so again, make sure that you look at your exact birth chart to make sure that it falls in the exact house that I said before you take this advice. Make sure you do that just so that way you're not looking at, like I said, I'm an Aquarius ascendant, but I have Pisces that takes over my entire first house. So I have a lot of Pisces ascendant personality traits as well, and at the same time my map really follows Pisces too. So make sure that it's underneath that. You want to look where Leo is at 18 degrees and 42 minutes of Leo, and that's when you will discover exactly what house it's in, and you follow that house's effects. Okay, all right, guys, well, thank you for rocking with me, and if you have any other questions, please feel free to email me at sukiheals@yahoo.com. And please check out my latest video as well that had to do with Jupiter in retrograde. Again, I know Jupiter went in retrograde July 10th. It took me about a month to edit this video because it was very sensitive to me. So check that out. And yeah, like, comment, share, and when I upload this to YouTube, subscribe. All right, guys. Enjoy your weekend and enjoy the new moon. Also, oh yeah, and Lionsgate. I will make a quick video about that as well. All right, guys. Enjoy. Good night.